And a very pleasant Thursday evening once again, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mark Henderson here live from the Weather Hub. Just wanted to bring you up to speed on the severe weather episode that is ongoing across the region. I'm happy to report that right now we do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our immediate area, with the exception of a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for far southeastern portions of Ogle County, and also, far southeastern portions of Lee County and extreme southwestern portions of DeKalb County, that you can see here that we've zoomed into. This is the far southernmost portions of DeKalb County. Severe weather threat has now moved eastward into northern portions of Kane County and much of McHenry County. That's where we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now. But for Winnebago and also Boone counties, thankfully the severe weather threat has come to an end, at least for the time being. We are, though, unfortunately starting to see a flash flooding threat emerge, and this is something that we were concerned about here for much of the day here, that the flash flood threat may start to evolve across parts of the state line, if not a good portion of the state line. A flash flood warning has been issued by the National Weather Service for central and northern portions of Winnebago County and western and northwestern portions of Boone County. And this is going to go for another 3.5 hours or thereabouts. So roughly speaking, we're looking at until about 9 o'clock. This flash flood warning will continue. And that might be the bare minimum, because there are more storms quickly beginning to emerge off to the west. Radar picture right now showing just a narrow corridor of heavy rainfall with some thunderstorms that stretches from basically Poplar Grove back westward through McChesney Park, and then continuing westward through just north of Pecatonica. And those storms are beginning to start to backbuild into portions of Stevenson County. And as we move the map here farther off to the west, we see much more in the way of storms currently beginning to fire or developing and becoming more widespread out across eastern portions and northeastern portions of Iowa. And you notice that pink colored polygon that you see to the west of Dubuque. That is a tornado warning that's in effect for portions of Dubuque County, where there have been potential tornadoes reported in northeastern Iowa over the course of the past 20 minutes to half hour or thereabouts. As we widen the view, you'll see more in the way of storms lining up westward over toward Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City, and then eastward toward the Quad Cities. So let's turn the radar off here real quickly here, and I'm going to turn off all of our particular polygons here as well, so we can get an idea of just what is going to be happening moving forward. We're going to switch into model mode here so we can get an idea of what is likely to unfold here as we go in through the next several hours. So this is the very latest run of our high-resolution forecast model, which will take us hour by hour through the course of the next several hours. So this is where we are right now here at 6 o'clock, and the model data is going to start to populate here shortly. It'll just take a few seconds for that to pop on the screen here. And we'll see how things are expected to emerge as we continue to move forward through the next several hours' time. More storms are likely to form. They're expected to become more widespread once again. And this is going to be something that could become more of a widespread issue for much of the region over the course of the next several hours. So here's where we stand right now. There's that narrow corridor of showers and thunderstorms that presently stretches from Boone and McHenry counties back westward through Winnebago and Stevenson County. And then there's the additional activity that's beginning to develop out across eastern Iowa, lining up right along the Mississippi River. And that's the snapshot for us here right at this 6 o'clock hour. So as we continue, we're going to step through this hour by hour, and you can see right in that flash flood warning in that green outlined area in Winnebago County, moderate to occasionally heavy rain will continue here through 7 o'clock, while that cluster of thunderstorms presently in eastern Iowa begins to expand eastward into northwestern and north central Illinois. So that's the picture at 7 o'clock. Here's what it looks like at 8 o'clock. Again, you'll notice that the area that is outlined in green, where that flash flood warning is in effect, These are areas that have already seen upwards of 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches of rain. More heavy rain is on the docket. And then we'll also concern ourselves with additional heavy rain along the I-88 corridor into portions of Ogle, Lee, and Carroll counties, as well as Whiteside County as well. Then there's the picture at 9 o'clock, and this is the period of time where I'm going to have to start watching back westward into northwestern Illinois, southwestern Wisconsin, and northeastern Iowa. All day long, our computer forecast models have been kind of suggesting that somewhere in this area, we'd actually start to see some backbuilding of this rainfall take place. And if that is the case, if that remains the case, that's where we really start to worry about more widespread flash flooding. Now, for the moment, our high resolution precision cast model is confining the bulk of that heavy rain a little bit farther to the south of Rockford. That's a positive development. That doesn't completely eliminate that threat for us here on the local level, but that is at least a piece of good news in that they would get rid of this activity maybe just a little bit sooner than originally feared. With that said, here we are at 1 o'clock. We're not done with the storms just yet. And this is when we start to see maybe a little bit more of that back building and additional thunderstorm development taking place after the midnight hour. That's when we start to worry about renewed concerns for some flash flooding. And it's going to be one of those things where you get this little narrow corridor of storms that maybe only sets up over about a 15, 20, 30-mile swath of northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, that don't necessarily commit to that little area of territory along the US 20 corridor being the place where that swath of heavy rain will continue to move over and over and over again. I think somewhere in northern Illinois or southern Wisconsin, there's going to be that swath. Where that sets up, that still may remain to be seen, but I think that it's a concern that we at least are going to have to watch out for over the course of the next several hours. Here we are at 5 o'clock. Again, just raining over the same places over and over and over again. Here's 6 o'clock. Some breaks for some, but very heavy rain will continue for others. 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe we start to get a few more breaks. And then as we get closer to 8, 9 o'clock, that's when the picture will turn a little bit quieter. So there is still very much the concern of some more widespread flash flooding moving forward. The severe weather threat, however, I really think is going to be confined to, let's say, the better part of the next couple of hours. When you get these little discrete cells and some of these more intense clusters of storms, anywhere between now and, let's say, 8, 9 o'clock. Once we get past about 9, 10 o'clock, I think the severe weather threat will come down considerably. We then focus almost exclusively on a heavy rain setup from that point forward. So let's go back to the radar picture here right now. And again, I'm happy to report that there presently are no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our immediate area at this stage in the game. But there are tornado warnings just off to the west of the Mississippi River, and severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect as you go into the northwestern suburbs of Chicago. Additional severe thunderstorms are ongoing to the north of us here, just to the east of Madison, between Madison and Milwaukee. Our most immediate concerns, however, will be around the heavy rainfall, particularly in the areas that are outlined in green there, including the north side of Rockford, Loves Park, McChesney Park, Roscoe, South Beloit, Rockton. You're kind of right on the threshold there, but Pecatonica, Winnebago, you could be looking at some heavier rainfall and some flash flooding concerns, as well as in toward Durand, Harrison, and Sherland as well, among other communities. And then that extends eastward into Boone County, particularly the northern portion over toward Capron, Caledonia, and also Poplar Grove. So this is the view from the Davenport radar picture. I want to switch this over to the Milwaukee radar picture because these storms are moving away from the Davenport radar site and closer to the Milwaukee site. And so we may get a better picture of these storms. And then I'll change this over to the Chicago radar site to look more closely at the cluster storms over far southern portions of DeKalb County. But as you can clearly see, there's some very organized storm activity continuing across much of Winnebago County, basically right along the 173 corridor. Heavier rains are about to get underway once again, though, in the northern tier of the county, including Roscoe and Rockton and South Beloit as well. So there could be some ponding on the roadways, some localized flash flooding as well. Again, though, for our immediate area, for the time being, I'm happy to report we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings, and no indication from our friends at the National Weather Service that anything along those lines would be forthcoming. Just want to pull up on my browser here just to see if there are any reports or any indications that a weather watch may be coming, and thankfully that is not the case either. Did have a hail report in Lee County earlier on. We had reports of half-dollar size hail near Nelson in Lee County. Also had golf ball size hail reported just to the east southeast of Dixon and just south of Dixon. In fact, in all directions around Dixon. Grand Detour, there was a report of 2-inch hail, and that was at about 4:30 this afternoon. Further to the north in Winnebago County near McChesney Park, also in the city of Rockford, we did have a quarter-size hail that was reported, as well as golf ball size hail or perhaps ping pong ball size hail in the McChesney Park area earlier on as well. So thus far, the main threats from the severe thunderstorms have been in the form of hail. Thankfully, those storms are continuing to weaken ever so slightly as they push eastward. Our main threat here, at least in the very short order, will focus around the potential of heavy rain and flash flooding. Again, most particularly in the area that is outlined in green. Then we'll focus on our next round of thunderstorms that's currently working out of northeastern Iowa and into portions of north central and northern Illinois. All right, we'll turn the radar off here real quick, and let's just give you the very latest Storm Prediction Center guidance here. The entire region is under a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather. You'll notice, though, that the level 2 slight risk for severe weather has pushed a little bit farther to the east and actually does touch up into western portions of Joe Davis County. That was just recently shifted eastward with the latest outlook that was issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and that was at 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can kind of see just how closely that touches up to our immediate area. It doesn't include the Rockford Metro, just a small portion of Joe Davis County, but it does show that the severe weather threat is pushing eastward, and so we are going to keep a close eye on that. And as we talk about the individual threats, tornadoes cannot be ruled out. This is a 2% risk for tornadoes in the green shaded area. Hail, same story, not a huge threat moving forward. Gusty winds will be a main threat here moving forward as well. This will resume as a threat and probably will take over as the main severe weather threat sometime over the course of the next 2 hours or so, as the second cluster storm that's presently in Iowa starts to inch eastward and become better organized. It will set up much more in the way of a wind threat. Heavy rainfall. This is going to become more and more of a concern as we go through the next several hours. The entire region has been placed under a level 2 out of 4, slight risk for excessive rainfall. You see this bright green line that makes its way through Lake Michigan and then southward through the I-88 and I-80 corridor. Inside that green line, that's where we're in the level 2 out of 4 risk. That's a slight risk for excessive rainfall. So flash flooding is going to be very much a concern tonight, and that is also going to be a renewed case for us here tomorrow as well. And as we do so, I do want to turn this off, and I want to turn our radar products back on here, because we did just see a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, which was issued by our friends in the National Weather Service in Davenport, and there is a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for folks in northwestern Joe Davis County. That does include the city of Galena. Let's zoom into this storm here so you can get a better picture of it. There you see that the strongest portion of that storm right now is near Dubuque. And this storm, let's put a little query on this storm just to give us an idea. So severe thunderstorm warning, which will go until 7:15 tonight. There is some rotation showing up according to the National Weather Service. So they are tagging this as a tornado possible. Hail is a possibility, but sub-severe hail Main threat with this storm would be gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, and again, possibly even a tornado. But the other thing here that needs to be mentioned, look at the movement of this storm to the east, east-southeast here at just 8 miles per hour. So this is going to be dumping some extremely heavy rainfall as it moves south, east-southeastward into Joe Davis County here sometime within the next few moments' time. So that's the severe thunderstorm warning that we have to deal with for far northwestern Joe Davis County. And again, that's going to go until 7:15. Flash flood warning is in the area that is outlined here in green. That is for Winnebago and northwestern or west central portions of Boone County. That's going to go until 9 o'clock. What's going to be interesting to see here is how much back building takes place. We're starting to see, you see kind of over in towards Stevenson County, starting to see those showers building back to the west here. What might be happening here is a little something that we call training take place. Imagine train tracks, and the train goes down the train tracks. If it's a very long train, the train goes over those tracks for a long period of time. These storms almost are starting to look like a train on the same path set of tracks. If that's the case, and you get storms to go along that same track for several hours at a time, that's when you really open yourself up to the possibility of some widespread flash flooding. That's not to say that that's a gimme, because it's not, but it's at least something that's going to have to be monitored very, very closely as we move forward in time, because that is a very real threat because of all the moisture that is present in our atmosphere. These are going to be very efficient rain producers, and it will not take much for them to produce some extremely heavy rainfall. We did show you earlier on how we kind of thought things were going to be playing out on our models here from a standpoint of the rainfall, what time the rainfall was going to be moving through, and how long it was going to be sticking around. But let's talk about now some of the rainfall amounts that may come our way here over the course of the next several hours. Again, we've already had some significant rainfall in the areas that are highlighted there in the pinker colors, but this is what's to come. Here's where we are at 7 o'clock, now 8 o'clock, and as that rain becomes more widespread later on tonight, we get some more of those widespread storms. Watch how much more common those pinks and whites begin to show up on our radar picture. We'll stop this here at midnight, and I'm going to start to query some of these rainfall totals. Look at this, much of Stevenson County, 2 to 2.5 inches. Go down into Ogle County, 2 to 2.5, maybe even 3 inches or thereabouts. Don't necessarily pay attention to any one particular location. Just know that the threat area-wide, if you are anywhere in northern Illinois or southern Wisconsin, you are going to be at risk for some potentially very heavy rainfall. Who ends up getting the most? That remains to be seen. It's almost impossible to tell. But as we continue to cycle through, and as we get closer to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, just look at how much of our area is under those pinks and those purples and those whites and those gray colors. Those are indicative of some massive, potentially major rainfall amounts. You get that much rainfall in only a period of 6 to 12 hours time, you could be looking at some serious flash flooding, not only on the roadways, but we're also going to have to watch our rivers here as well. Flash flooding may very well become a concern there as well, and especially if we do this over again tomorrow, which we very well could, and we'll discuss that here in just a moment. We could renew those concerns once again as we go into the day tomorrow. So let's go to the longer range version of our precision cast model, and let's first start talking about the forecast radar here. So here's again where we are, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the wrong model. Hold on. There we go. 3 o'clock in the morning, rainfall starts to push a little bit farther to the south, but renewed showers and thunderstorms get closer to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, could start lining up right along that US 20 corridor. And so that's the heavy rain leading up to the pre-dawn hours of tomorrow. Then I think we get a substantial break of several hours during the daytime here tomorrow. But we are going to be watching for the potential for new storms to begin to fire tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And here's my concern. Tomorrow, during the daytime, it's going to heat up in a big way. We're likely heading into the upper 80s to lower 90s. That is going to prime the atmosphere even more than it did today with energy for showers and storms. Let's see, can we see this just yet? Yes, we can. So here we are, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, far left-hand corner of your screen. These are new thunderstorms that will be developing here tomorrow afternoon and into early tomorrow evening. These ones could be even stronger than the storms that we've seen to this point in time. Notice how well organized these are, and you notice how these kind of have these little arced shapes to them as they continue eastward. That is a classic setup for widespread, gusty, if not damaging winds. That is something that looks to be a little bit ominous here late tomorrow into tomorrow afternoon. Here's 6 o'clock tomorrow. Here's 7 o'clock tomorrow. Now watch what happens tomorrow evening. Do we see a repeat performance of that training where the storms just kind of park overhead for a period of several hours? 10 o'clock, still here. 11 o'clock, still here. So once again, we could be talking about 6 to 8 hours of persistent heavy rain, which will once again renew flooding concerns, both on a flash flooding basis, and the river flooding may become an issue as well. Thankfully, by the time we get to the overnight hours or early Saturday morning, hopefully we can put some of those fears a little bit more so to rest. But it's going to be an interesting go of it here over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours, to be absolutely sure. Flooding concerns in the short term, obviously severe weather concerns here in the very short term are the things that we need to be watching. But it could be a very, very eventful next 24 plus hours, 24 to 36 hours, maybe even longer here in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Again, radar picture showing those storms back building into portions of Stevenson County. Already heavy rain has occurred in central portions of Winnebago County, where the flash flood warning is in effect until 9 o'clock. Could have more flash flood concerns with these storms, and especially if we see more storms developing farther to the west in western Stevenson County. And then we'll have to watch the storms that are exiting Iowa and moving into northwestern Illinois in the next several hours as well. So lots to watch here over the course of the next several hours, and you can rest assured we'll be doing just that here moving forward. But with no warnings presently in effect aside from that flash flood warning, we are going to bring this live broadcast to a conclusion. For folks who may have found this video via Facebook, this is a live stream on YouTube right now. And that is going to be our exclusive home for live videos for the foreseeable future, at least for the next month or thereabouts. Unfortunately, Facebook will not give us the capability of going live just yet. We have to wait 60 days from the date of creation of our Weather Hub page in order to be able to go live on Facebook, and we're only about halfway there. So for the time being, if we are to broadcast live, it is going to be on Facebook. So what do you got to do to make sure that you can get in on these videos whenever they are posted or broadcast? Go on YouTube right here, Mark Henderson's Weather Hub, just below, bottom to the left of this video. Click, make sure that you subscribe and sign up for notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. You will get a notification to do so just that way. So eventually we will have the capability of streaming here to both YouTube and Facebook, so you don't have to pick one or the other. But for the time being, YouTube is the place to be to get these live videos. So again, Mark Henderson's Weather Hub on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and sign up for the notifications so that you are the first to know the second that we do go live. Thank you so much for being with us here. We'll come back with an update if needed here. I'm hoping we don't have to. That would mean that the severe weather threat has been greatly minimized and our flood risk also greatly minimized. But of course, should this situation warrant it, we will come back on live later on this evening. Until then, stay weather aware. Keep it tuned here to the Weather Hub. We'll see you very soon. Take care now.